little chilly. All right, we have the thumbs up from Mr. Slusher, so we will call the meeting to order. Do our roll call. I am here, clearly. Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Probella.
Here.
Commissioner Tomlin.
Here.
Commissioner Wagley.
Yes.
And Mr. Lowe is here. All right, great. We have minutes from the last meeting that should have been delivered possibly a couple of times. So we had some, I think, some problems on the delivery the first time. Everybody's had a chance to review those. Do we have any corrections or additions or comments? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Probella,
Yes.
Commissioner Tomlin,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagley,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay. Mr. Wright, you want to review the claims with us?
Good morning. I sent out the claims yesterday afternoon a couple times with the addition of Steve. So really the claims are very minimal. We do have claims for the administration of the bond that were paid out to Bose, McKinney, and Evans, and LWG CPAs and Advisors, and Beasley Gilkison. And with that, I'll just open it up to any questions.
Let's see. Craig, can you, I mean, it's not a big claim, but do we have other expenses on the village parking garage fund beyond the Centos?
With the cleanup, we do clean up.
Okay.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about the claims?
Make a motion to accept claims as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Probella,
Yes.
Commissioner Tomlin,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagley.
Yes.
I vote yes. Claims are approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, want to give us a update on the city's activities, your activities?
Good morning.
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 I'm gonna pass these out. So before we get into the handouts, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the things going on. As the Riverbend Apartments, which is in a TIF district and is nearing exterior completion. They're still working, obviously, but those will be 60 new apartment units at the corner of Memorial and Burlington. One of the nice things that happened as a result of that, Pizza King has bought a building across the street on Memorial and will be opening up a location there. So they were excited about those apartments. They have not constructed at all. They haven't yet constructed the playground that will be going in there for the residents and children of the adults of the residents as well, if they want, and the clubhouse that will be going in there. But it's coming along very well, and we're real excited to have that new development on the area, and it already sparked some things. Yesterday, I will just say that a group of us had the opportunity to do some. We actually kayaked a part of the White River, but we spent some time back behind those apartments. That is one of the locations for a planned for Project Blue Ways, a plan for canoe and kayak launch. So that area right behind those apartments is one of those. We look for 10 in Delaware County. I think we've got a couple that are coming right away here in the city of Muncie, funded primarily through Ball Brothers, but the edit funds will get involved as well a little bit. But that's one of the future locations, so that will be kind of nice. So we did that yesterday. But that's one that's moving along. I'm trying to think what else is in a TIF district. The City View homes, which those are the homes that we sold dozens of MRC lots. There have been many of those lots we've owned as a city, 2009, 2013, 2015, and some of them came without, we'll just call them 100% clean titles. And so that has been delayed. It will close in September. We just did a final extension, but all that title work has been done, and that should close, and the construction on those homes will begin in September, and then phase 2 will start in October. But there were title issues for liens that were not released prior to the city's ownership. So that can be a challenge when banks get bought by banks and so forth. But all of that has been handled and was handled by a local title company.
So we've had some of those for 10 and 15 years.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And one of our objectives here, and one of my objectives here, is to get those properties back on the tax rolls.
Right.
And so this will definitely help with that. We did not own where Riverbend Flats is going, those apartments. That was owned by some type of investment group where the marsh was. Yeah. But we did own all these individual lots. We own, and so those houses will be going on those individual lots in the infill, mostly in the industry. We'll see quite a few in South Central, some on South Side neighborhood, Thomas Park, Avondale, most of them in those neighborhoods. So those, but I just wanted to kind of explain why that construction hasn't started. It's because we haven't closed fully, and that will be sometime earmarking around September 15th. So construction should start immediately after that, and they have all their bids in. They're just waiting for the closing, but we had to get those titles cleared. It did create other problems in our current industry. As we came up, they had hoped to start this in June, but as we've continued to have delays, it's continued to cause those contractors to adjust the bids. So things keep getting adjusted on the developer's end. So they've got it in line now. Other properties that would be in city Muncie redevelopment territory would be the Till Pond Park, which I'll get to that later. But that's an area that is also in a Muncie Redevelopment Commission area. And we do have, we did submit for a couple more housing projects. We know that it's a need in our community. Our housing stock is very old. And so we submitted 2. We're waiting for state approval on those 2, but a lot of those will be MRC lots as well. One of them is more of another complex. It's not something we owned. We partnered with the county, so if that gets accepted, that will help. They owned a property that they got from tax sale. But at this point, I'm not going to go into a lot of details because those are not yet, they need the tax credits from the state, and those are competitive, so we need that to come through. But we'll hear that probably in November is the expected time. So let me go ahead and move through starting with the hotel feasibility study. We have received back a preliminary report. It's very positive. In fact, it kind of indicated that that there was probably support for multiple hotels in the city. What some of the city hoteliers have said is that they've started reducing some of the discounts that they offered to groups that would come because they know the rooms are going to get filled. So it was very positive. So I have already begun. In fact, at 11 o'clock today, I meet with the hotel group via phone again. So to get those ramped back up, but I've already been talking with some of the landowners. They recommend 4 different sites, so we're looking at those different sites, and but we have to put it all together. So it'll come back when we have it all ready to go. But it came back very positive, and said that there was a need, and that this one on the east side they felt could easily, because of the bypass, could very easily help service the needs of CanPac and the other facilities that are going in along the bypass on the south side. That was one of the reasons they felt like an east side hotel would be very beneficial to our community.
Did they give you a sense of how many rooms?
Yes.
Think we're short?
Yes, they're looking at 55, a 55-room, 4-story is their recommendation. So we still have to put it all together, but their recommendation is a 55-room, 4-story hotel that did include a pool and a bar and lounge. And
But if they said possibly more than one, do they tell you what they think the market is short of rooms in total?
they didn't indicate that in verbal conversations.
Okay.
They gave a number, but not in the written form. So I'll kind of
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
They thought. It's not like we need 10. Let's just put it that way. So, but they felt more than one. The city could easily handle it with everything that's going on. So that is very positive. We've started some discussions, and I had begun some of those prior to, just to make sure there was some interest. And if you have a for sale sign out in front, there's interest, but sometimes other locations don't necessarily have that. But we're working on that. And again, I meet with them at 11 o'clock. I'm going to mute this, sorry.
Not a bad reminder.
There. It beeped on me twice. Okay. So any questions about the hotel feasibility? It's not a final report, so I decided not to go ahead and prepare it because they're still making some adjustments because some information came in later that wasn't negative, but they wanted to include it because it helps tell the story. So hope to have that soon. Okay, so let's go to the budget that I presented. So you'll notice that there are a lot more lines this time. We still have money that is earmarked specifically for the mall area. You can see that. A small amount for Mad Jack's. The central TIF, if you'll remember, last month you authorized some maintenance for downtown. We have enough with what's in the central TIF to do 3 years of maintenance. I think that's important. When we have beautiful facilities, we want to make sure that we maintain those facilities. So my intent would be to come to you, and I mentioned this last time, we'll come to you again next year for 23 to handle maintenance and upgrades to the downtown area, and then also in 24. So we've got the funds already sitting there allocated for that in my mind. What you ordered, which includes some new Christmas lights, has been ordered. They've already, I hope you saw, they already did a lot of the work on some of the brick Walnut Street work. So a lot of that has been upgraded, and we will continue to do that. It'll be less expensive in future years. The maintenance had not occurred in the 10 years that it's been there to the level that it needed to, and so we paid a little extra this year to bring all that up to speed, and then we have an annual plan in mind going forward that will take care of those bricks and making sure when repairs need to happen, they can happen, and we've got funding for it. You'll see that the south side, that south side TIF area is now zero, and that's because you authorized spending the $87,279.45 toward the demolition work. So that demolition work is moving along fine, but I just moved it down to the next line, which is Markets on Madison, which is Southway Plaza, and added to it the $400,000 that came from the bond. So in your packets going forward, you'll see a dollar figure in there, and that's what's not spent. They are almost finished with that phase 1 demolition work of the parking lot. Once they have it seeded and the straws down, then they'll move to the next phase of the parking lot along the front parking lot and they'll demolish that part. But we also knew with tenants in there, we didn't want to do the whole thing at once. That would not be a good thing. So we're doing it in sections. So you'll probably see a dollar change next month when we get the invoice for Phase 1 demolition work. McKinley, I put McKinley/Ready. That's for the Ready grant. That's the $500,000 that came from the bond. So that's sitting there and waiting. I'll just give you a brief update on some of that. We do have, we've got some appraisals that are ordered that will come out of this for some properties, for some acquisition. There's only a few properties left that we're in need of for that whole first block, and we've already been in discussions with them, and we have some things under contract that we're waiting on appraisals to confirm and take an action on it. I've also discussed with DAC, and at their board meeting yesterday, they may assist us because of the value of that product to the neighborhood, and the state's very involved, obviously. They put in more than $1 million that are going into that neighborhood. So we're rather excited about what is about to happen there, and then I also communicated with the school system and the Y. So we've done a lot of connecting because anything that we do at that intersection will impact everybody. So it'll impact the neighborhood. They've been involved, but we've now got we have 2 people that we're to deal with at Muncie Community Schools, and I deal with the Y as well. So that what we do at that intersection to enhance the look and feel will be beneficial to all parties. The next line down, let's see if there's anything else I want to mention on that one. I'm going to have to get my glasses out. I am just no longer able to do it. On McKinley, well, let me go back to Southway for a second and finish up some other highlights. That property is managed by a local company that the developer picked, or that the company out of Seattle picked. But they did give me an update on that. They have ordered coupled complete HVAC systems. They put in some temporary fixes. That was pretty bad shape. Those are due in any time. When those get in, they'll get them installed. They have already accepted who there's going to do the exterior painting, so I think you're going to see the facade start changing. We're working with them to nail down the location. I'm working with the city engineer to nail down the location of the playground so that they can put that in. That's being done. They're doing that. And then we're handling the trees in the parking lot. So I forgot to give those updates because I didn't have my glasses on and couldn't really see it. So now I can see it. So if we go back to McKinley neighborhood, as I mentioned, and the other group with McKinley neighborhood is the schools, the Y, but also the Planning Commission. So we've been in communication with all of those. And then Tilpon is on there. That's the $300,000 that's earmarked for that project specifically. We're in the process of, there's a DNR grant, so we're waiting to hear on that, which our understanding is will be before November's meeting. And then we anticipate at that point that we'll be able to move something forward. Nothing will happen there until we have those funds.
How much do we anticipate that could be?
The state grant is $500,000.
Okay.
So we will have to come up with the rest. I've already put a lot of that together with some local organizations that are very interested in nature. So some of it. So I don't anticipate it'll be a problem. So we have 300, and we're close to having for 500. And if we don't get the state grant, then we'll reduce the scope of the park and do 500,000.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the goal. So hopefully we can do $1 million, but. So that Tilpon money is sitting there, and then there's $600,000 for parks. So I went to the Parks Board, and so you've got a list there that shows the 10 different parks that we're doing adjustments to. Some of these are merely just repairs that need to be done. For example, at Tui Pool, there are some repairs to that slide. There's some major painting that needs to be done on that particular pool once it's drained. And all of that is being put together. And but we've got some money earmarked for Tui. We've got money earmarked for the skate park. We've got money earmarked for Ball Corp Park. Now, there's not a major thing at Ball Corp, but there's some excavating that needs to happen for those soccer clubs. So Deputy Mayor Richard Ivy had indicated that there's some excavation work that needs to be done to level that field and get it to where it's safer and better for the kids and for the parents watching. So that's the amount that will cover that. Heacon Park, we have some money set aside. The neighborhood hasn't yet picked what they want to do. They're discussing between possibly pickleball, possibly tennis court, possibly playground, possibly basketball court. You know, they're deciding, but there's some money budgeted. It's for that park. Coing Park, there's just some minor adjustments, some improvements to the pickleball courts. I know that that's part of it. So that's just improvement. Jack's Park is a park, I don't even know if everybody knows where Jack's Park is, but the CVS that was located on McGalliard, there's a dead-end street. It's not an ideal location as far as getting people to it, but it's walkable from some of the other neighborhoods. But it is a park that's got we'll just call it aged park equipment, decades aged, probably 40 and 50 years old. We want to work on that. And there is a neighborhood group that's now helping our Parks Department work through what they would like to see done. And we're looking at, this would be primarily just updating equipment, taking out some of that old unsafe that wouldn't be approved now if it was installed, and taking that out like we did at Riverview Park, taking that out and putting in some new ADA compliant playground equipment. But all that is earmarked toward them. The amount going for Halteman is all for the pickleball court that's already ordered. So once that comes in, it'll get installed. They anticipate that it'll be able to be installed in November. Subject to the snow, there could be some pickleball being played at Halteman Park in November or December. I don't know what the time frame is to do the work, but they expect it can be started at that time. And then Anthony, there is not a park in Anthony Northside neighborhood, but we have had some communications with Ball State. Those are still ongoing, but there is the Anthony building has a small playground that was for the kids at recess. And so we're trying to work out something with Ball State. They're very receptive. The terms are not agreed upon as far as, is this long-term, is it short-term, is it mid-term? And Ball State has its own plans for the area, so we have to accommodate all of that. But our intent is to get some additional playground equipment in there, and the cities come up with a way to be able to manage a park in there. What's nice about it is where that playground equipment is located is off the main street. It's off Oakwood, so it's a safe distance. It already has parking, and it has other amenities around it. I mean, there are baseball fields. There's other things all around. So it's really a pretty good location. But those conversations are going on, and that's what that money is earmarked to do, is to put in some additional equipment once we get it ironed out. And then Morningside, we did a lot of upgrades last year, and quite frankly, the costs were much more than anticipated. We're about $17,000 short. So this will finish up what Morningside was needing done, and there were a couple council members. So all of these 10 parks, these 9 plus Tilpon, so that's the 10. We are upgrading, and I want to thank the MRC for moving forward with this. We are upgrading 10 of our local parks, almost a third of our parks with this money, doing needed repairs, adding additional equipment, making things ADA compliant, and I think it's pretty exciting that this board views, as I do, that parks are part of economic development. It's part of quality of life, it's part of quality of place, and it's really exciting. So we have these dollars on here. You will get this each and every month going forward. As dollars come out of that, as they buy a piece of equipment or as we make a repair, those amounts will reduce. When we get to one that's finished, if there's dollars left over, then you guys will get to determine where that gets moved.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question?
Sure.
On this document, it says that the skate park has over 200, well, not over, has 220,000 allocated to it. Is that a typo or is that a correct number?
That's a correct number.
So over a third of the 600,000 allocated for parks is going into the skate park?
Yes.
Could you maybe explain that in a little bit more detail?
Yes.
Just for the public's sake?
Yeah, we've been working on a skate park. We're a community of 65,000 people that does not have one, which is very unusual. We looked at where are there possibilities. We looked at several parks, and we determined that the West Side Park was the best location because of those model airplane fields. So I remember I had Deputy Mayor reached out to those model airplane groups, and they all said that this is what we were told. They all now do this at AMA.
Right.
And so they don't have a need. And so we thought this is our opportunity. And so we've already got a park. It's already got parking. It's already got bathrooms. It has all kinds of other amenities. So if somebody's not into skating, they can go play on the playground or go walk along the paths and so forth. So we determined that that would be a great park. There was a group here in town who, before I was mayor, had been trying to put together a skate park. And we had a couple of conversations with them. This is in early 2020, and then that continued. And when the ARP money became available, the city, along with the council, we put in $300,000 for the skate park. It was estimated at that time that the cost would be $375,000. This is from the skate park group. Once we got the engineering in and looked at what actual costs were, it's actually close to $600,000 for the entire park. So I made them an offer that, we can go ahead and build something smaller. Right now, with the $300,000 that the city and the council, the mayor and the council have put together, or you can raise the rest of the money. When the bond became available, we felt like this was a great opportunity to upgrade West Side Park and have our city of 65,000 people have a skate park. So we decided to go ahead and put a portion in there, but we also felt that we wanted skin in the game. So the skate park group is raising the rest of the funds, which are about $80,000 on their own. And again, I offered to lower it down, but they want to keep the scope that they want, and I appreciate that. So we're doing some public meetings to get further input, and there is a group that's working together, even with some local companies here, to raise the funds. So we're already in the process of doing the engineering. It's Rundell Ernstberger and Associates is doing that. They've done multiple skate parks. And so that's where we came up with what is, we believe, a legitimate dollar figure. So that's where that 220 is earmarked, is to help complete that section.
Okay, thanks.
So, but it'll be $600,000 in total.
Yeah.
Any other questions on parks? And any suggestions on how differently or better I could present this to you? I really, the claims will show what's deducted. I just kind of wanted to show the net figure. So that's what my intent was, and not put each individual claim on here as we deduct it out. But I wanted us to make sure we kept true to the plan of helping 10 parks, and making sure that until each of those projects is done, that money is earmarked for those particular parks. And then as the city can come up with other ways to fund even more parks, obviously we've done splash pads, we've done other upgrades in other parks already. But this was an opportunity to touch 1/3 of the parks, and I appreciate the MRC being on board for that. So, any other, I don't know that I have much else of an update. I will tell you that we have, and I don't know, whoever was going to open the packet, whoever was going to do that. I know that there were several builders that, 3 that I know of, that said they wanted to do 3 lots each. One was going to do 2 to 3 lots, but they did not get their packets in time. I met with one again last night, but they just couldn't get it all put together. So there's not, there's some didn't make the cutoff. That's basically what happened. Due to their work schedules, they just couldn't get it done. And we're hopeful that they still get an opportunity. And I said, I think you'll get an opportunity. So.
So how do we want to do this bid? Does this bid go to our, we had a small group that was working on that. Do they come back, Mr. Freeman, can you help us with
Is
this?
this a store bid?
This is store.
That needs to be open today in the public meeting and read,
Okay.
and then either accepted or rejected or other by the commission.
Okay.
Today is the advertised time and place for the opening.
So I will sit down, call me back up if you need something.
We ready?
Yes.
Since it's open.
How much detail do we need to read of this? I mean, it's
Personal
sev- several pages long.
And a check on the back.
What we've done with bids in the past is like just purchaser amount of investment and then like intentions and what lot, intentions of the property, all that stuff. But nothing, I mean, I don't know that we have to read it word for word or anything like that.
No, I think the important thing is to just get the, as you say, the,
Have they placed any terms and conditions in there other than just,
I would say we read the buyer, the price, the method of payment.
there's no conditions precedent that need to be,
There is a realtor, I think, representing that person.
Doesn't appear so. I just, it references an addendum as to what property they're referring to. I just wanted to.
okay. Just to make sure if there's any contingencies that the
It doesn't appear so.
commissioners know that, okay.
Well, it looks like they're leaving it to the commission as to which one they want to award based on their preference, but as they're the only bid, I think you could give them.
Right.
First choice. Okay. So bidder is Melissa J. Howell. Purchase price $35,000. Submitted a earnest deposit of $1,000. Method of payment is cash for the purchase price.
No contingencies.
See no contingencies based on that. Buyer is a homeowner who intends to have home built to live in as owner occupant and therefore is the only bidding to get one lot.
Okay.
Bid is $35,000. Preference is lot 25.
Yeah, they've given us a preference of order here.
Yes.
Okay. So we have an offer of $35,000 for lot number 25, cash offer. So, so we entertain a motion to accept that offer.
Sure.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Miller,
yes.
Commissioner Parbella,
Yes.
Commissioner Tomlin,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagley,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay.
I'd like to state that it's listed on our sheet as of 33,750, so.
Okay. All right, done.
Perfect.
Thank you.
The-
So,
Additional bids or offers may come in.
yes.
And they're allowed to come in. They don't have to be, today was the bid process
Right.
date. They can still come in. The commission can obviously still entertain them and approve them. Any approval would need to be at a public meeting by the commission itself. But for the next 30 days, the posted prices that were advertised remain the minimum amounts that can be sold for. But after that, we have more options. So as the mayor suggested, if there are any developers that do come forward, they may know what they're doing. They may come forward after 30 days and try to get a better deal. But for at least the next 30 days from today, we're locked in. at
I would
those prices.
consider our carrying cost on these as a sunk cost, so I think as the season, we'll have the discussions, but I still believe that demand will be high, so I don't know that,
The interest was high.
we'll deal with those as they come, okay? How long do we anticipate that it would take to be able to prepare a deed and get this to the seller?
I think that sales offer that they had provided in there contemplated a closing by September 30th. Unless there's anything wonky on title, I don't know why that would be a problem.
Okay, all right, good. All right,
Thank you.
so, other business, Mr. Mayor, we have no other? I do. Okay, we do, okay.
So we do have a couple, we've had communications with a couple others, so I don't think they didn't make it at this meeting, but we've got a couple other people that are interested in some MRC lots. And we don't have them in hand. And then I have three that I sent to the title company last month. Two of them we've got back, so after the meeting, I'll have you or whoever is authorized sign those particular deeds
Okay.
on those properties. And we went through Indiana Title, and they did the search and made sure that the titles were clean and prepared the paperwork.
Okay,
So we have, I don't know if I need to read the addresses, but 805 North Jefferson is one you're going to be signing, and 1101 and 1105 North Blaine.
that's the
and-
one we agreed to last month.
Yes.
Right, okay, yeah,
And then the other one that I don't have back from the title company yet is on West 9th Street.
okay,
So as soon as that one's back, and then we get these others, and we'll bring them to you and follow the process at the next meeting.
good. Thank you, sir.
I think that's it for me.
All right, we have an update from the Muncie Land Bank. Mr. Howard?
Morning.
Morning.
My
Morning.
name Nate Howard from the Muncie Land Bank. This will be pretty brief, but this month, since the last MRC meeting, we've acquired 3 new properties. 2 are vacant lots. One is property with a structure. We sold 2 properties. One of those, well, both of them are vacant lots. One of those, we had to go through the zoning board for appeals, what's the name of that exact, Board of Zoning Appeals, to get a variance. The person who purchased the lot wants to do some farming on it. So anyway, for us, that was a learning experience to go through the board. I foresee us doing a lot of that. A lot of people are coming to us asking about changing zoning rules, getting variances. We've applied for 4 grants this month. All those requests for funding are pending, but it's very important for us to continue doing the work that we're doing. I mentioned last month we got a new property software, management software. We're still onboarding that. But we feel like it's a really great investment, and it's going to pay dividends going forward. We're looking at growing our staff. We have a few needs we've identified. One of those is kind of communicating more what we do, telling our story. So we're we've drafted a job description. We'll be looking for somebody sometime soon here. And this fall, we're trying to do our work a little bit more geographically focused, kind of more of a neighborhood by neighborhood part of a strategy that we have. And so we're going to be focusing in 3 neighborhoods probably the next 15 months or so. And those are Thomas Park, Avondale, South Central, and Industry neighborhood. But we're going to be trying to acquire a certain number of properties with structures, with a lot of input from the communities, and secure those for the hopes of future redevelopment. Not saying that we're going to necessarily do the development, but they're strategic properties for redevelopment, and we're trying to get other people in the fold to do that work. Other than that, we've been having a lot of new conversations, some with the county, some with the building commissioner, talking about different ideas about properties that are that they've been mowing for years, what we can do. That's really all I have this month. If you have any questions or suggestions, love to hear.
I know you've been facilitating some meetings with some partners, so
Yeah.
I think that's good idea, and appreciate that. Well, look forward to hearing more updates from you regularly.
Yeah,
Good.
great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Give you this here.
Mr. Baker from Innovation Connector is here this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me this few moments here to speak. First of all, I want to thank you for all your support over the years with the Innovation Connector. We are part of a system in Indiana called the Indiana Certified Tech Park, Technology Park System, and we're one of 22 parks within the state. We are one of the more successful ones, to be honest. At least I'm biased, but yes, we are, impact-wise. And the state General Assembly allows us to collect money from the state based on performance and such. It's really performance-based each year of up to $100,000. We have met those requirements for last year. It will be coming about. And what the money will do is the money is sent to the local redevelopment commissions of each community as a pass-through to the Certified Tech Park. The General Assembly thought that that would be the best way to do it, since every community has a MRC, or we have an MRC by the Redevelopment Commission, so it's an easy pass-through. So we've been notified that we will be receiving the full $100,000 from our performance for last year. And all I'm going to, first of all, just ask for your permission or approval for us to receive that back, so we do it formally. The city controller has already been notified that the money is going to be coming, and we've sent documentation. So when that happens, instead of waiting, and we think it's going to be any day now, that instead of waiting for it to come, waiting for another month, we just felt like it would be nice to know what's going to happen. He's got the documentation as far as that. The second of all, just as an education thing for you, and for anybody listening or watching, there are 5 benefits of certified tech parks, and you're thinking, okay, how does this all fit in? So first of all, certified tech parks are innovation hubs for communities. They're catalysts for entrepreneurial and innovation activity. Number 2, certified tech parks develop locally grown and operated businesses who create high-paying jobs and such. CTPs are vital to economic diversity of industries and companies, not just manufacturing, but other. CTPs offer a safety net for business support, and the cool thing is the reason we are around is that in the legislation, the General Assembly, and this is many years ago, determined that it would be great to have resource centers within the certified tech parks as a resource for business development for the park and for the city, which we do. And then also through certified tech parks, leverage local, regional, and national funding sources to deliver these resources. So we take this very seriously about what we're doing. And We are working with, and I'll be spending a lot of time with the General Assembly when the next session comes out in 2023 to go after a lot more money. And so we're really set up for that, and we're really excited about that. One of the reasons we are interested in upping the game on the funding coming in is that we are now in the application process awaiting on their approval, or review and approval. But we have submitted a $3 million grant application to the Economic Development Administration out of Washington, D.C. in the Chicago office because we have plans and are intending to triple the size of the Innovation Connector on site. That means to add a 28,800 square foot building. We're still dreaming about a few things with that, but this $3 million fund from the EDA would be just about half, it's about 48% of the money that would be needed to do this, and it would be a real shot in the arm for us to start that process. So it would be a resource for our community, for the region, but it would be centrally located right here in our community. And I'm really excited about this project. So it's a long time coming. The EDA is a great government agency. They just move slowly, and so we don't know how this is all going to pan out. I've made 2 trips to DC, meeting with them directly, and so we just have pulled out all the stops. So we are working with a firm in DC and here locally to help us through that process. Just to give you an idea, in 2021, people registered as working in the Certified Tech Park, and that's where we are on the corner of White River Boulevard in Jackson, and then over where Ontario or Fenvey is, those 2 sections there. Believe it or not, there are 1,314 employees that work for those organizations that work what we call out of the Muncie community. The average wage of those employees, $66,690. Now, if a developer would come in and say, hey, we're going to bring in 1,314 jobs and we're going to pay them just under $67,000 a year, our mayor would do about whatever it would need to happen to make that happen, right? And it's happening right here in our midst already, and it's been growing every year, so we're excited. That means that last year, over $93 million worth of payroll is generated from that area in the tech park. And including, not included in that, were another 133 contractors that receive, their 1099 contractors that receive a significant part of their revenue from people within the tech park, an additional $5.6 million. So the impact of that community, of what we do is significant. About 93% of the jobs that are there are identified as tech jobs or tech-enabled jobs. So we're really trying to focus on that. Although we realize that innovation and entrepreneurship really goes beyond tech, and so we're working with all that. Just in the Innovation Connector itself, last year, full-time employees that worked out of the Innovation Connector through the year, 124 employees. Number of businesses, 25. Payroll just under $7 million. And so we're really, really excited about that. One thing I just wanted to announce too, you're going to be seeing a lot of this just for an idea of what's happening. In November 14th through 19th, we're deeming that as Entrepreneur Showcase Week. And actually the mayor on that first morning is going to come and kick us off that day with a mayoral proclamation and such. It coincides with Global Entrepreneurship Week. It just happens to be like that. Really cool that it worked out. And we're registered globally as an event for Entrepreneurship Week. The Innovation Connector is going to put on 20 events at the Innovation Connector in 1 week. Crazy, yes. Breakfast, lunch, afternoons, and in the evenings. There'll be something for everyone who considers himself or wants to consider themselves an entrepreneur, from having the SBA come from Indianapolis to talk about women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses. What are the options for businesses in that sector? All the way from talking to having sessions on mental health and entrepreneurship, side gigs. We're actually going to have on the Tuesday night, which is the 15th, which is National Entrepreneurs Day. And I've wanted to do this since the ARP ARP money went out. And that is to kind of have a celebration for all the people who received ARP money and such from the businesses and restaurants and nonprofits. So that 15th is a Ball State football game, home football game. First of all, I can't have an event at the Innovation Connector that I can't be there because I go to all the football games. So we have to work around that, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to have our own tailgate party. And so we're going to supply hot dogs and chips and drinks and stuff like that. And we are already in the process of working out invitations to invite every single company, business that received ARP funds to come and join us. It may cost $1. You know, we're still working on that. Probably just be free anyway, but $1 might work out fine. The whole idea, though, is we want to celebrate and just have some sort of tailgate type of thing, and just to say, hey, to the entrepreneur community, well done. Let's keep this going, and we want to celebrate that. The Innovation Connector this year is celebrating entrepreneurs in the year 2022. That's our goal for this year. So that's a little overview of what we're doing. The main reason I came is just to make sure that we could get your approval for those funds to be transferred to us once they come in, and then we'll put them to good use. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. But I could go on. We have a lot of stuff going on.
That's fine. It's good to hear. Good to hear. Okay. We get a motion to approve the funding from Mr. Wright once those funds are received.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Parvella.
Yes.
Commissioner Tomlin.
Yes.
Commissioner Wagley.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Thank you very much.
Is your website up and ready for this Entrepreneur Week?
It will be a week from Monday when it's announced in the Muncie Journal article that will go out. So, and there'll be a lot of social media out there, but it will be called showcaseweek.com, and that's all you're going to have to go to. But that date, everything will be out.
Prime Trust will be sure to share that.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Appreciate it. All right. Any commission member comments that go to the order?
We've got one more.
Do we have, oh, I'm sorry.
Well-
Mr. I didn't see you stand up.
Well, I brought this was delivered to me from the deputy mayor, so I had mentioned that we had somebody trying to buy a property, they were having some online trouble. So I do have an application now for 2 properties. These are adjacent, but I know you haven't seen them yet, so it's just up to you if you want to move on it. But this gentleman lives at, his name's Ralph Evans, and he lives at 1000 North Macedonia. The 2 properties that the MRC has are 1002 and 1006, right next to his, North Macedonia. And he is just wanting to acquire those properties to maintain them and add on to his existing property space. Not a building, he's just looking at adding on, just having some green space. He offered $500, and if this board, I know this is late notice, but we had trouble getting it from our online portal. If you're willing, I'd be happy to follow the procedure and have this go to the land bank to review his proposal. But I know you haven't seen it, but it's the regular online application, has his name and address and.
We get a motion to
Yeah.
send this to the land bank
I'll
for
make
their
that
vetting.
motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Parvella.
Yes.
Commissioner Tomlin.
Yes.
Commissioner Wagley.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Let's do
Okay,
that.
thank you.
You bet.
We'll get that done.
All right.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Ivy. Yeah. Like the Pony Express, right? Running at the last moment. All right, good deal. Have any public comments? For the good of the order? Okay. If not, we will adjourn until September 15th of 2022. Thank you all.